Chapter 10, Energy Balance, Weight Control, and Eating Disorders, Screencast 2. Now, this screencast will be focusing on the concept of how we actually measure energy expenditure. Energy that's used by the body can be measured in one of two ways. One is direct calorimetry, the other is indirect calorimetry. The other method that can be used is an estimate of energy expenditure, and this would be based on height, weight, physical activity, and age. Now, direct calorimetry estimates energy expenditure by measuring the amount of heat released by the body. Approximately 60% of energy the body uses actually leaves as heat energy. Heat release is actually measured by placing a person in an insulated chamber surrounded by a layer of water. Change in temperature actually determines the amount of energy that person expended. This is not a cheap way to go about doing this. It is rather expensive, and there really aren't a lot of facilities where this is how energy expenditure is actually measured. What is more common, especially in the field of exercise physiology, is a technique known as indirect calorimetry. This process actually involves collecting expired air. We can do this because there is a predictable relationship between body's use of energy, the amount of oxygen consumed, and carbon dioxide produced. And data tables can actually show energy costs of various types of activities and exercise. Now, when we look at estimated energy requirements, this is known as EERs. They are measurements that can estimate energy needs based on weight, height, gender, age, physical activity level. Below are two formulas that actually can be used to estimate someone's energy expenditure, and please note that these formulas are for men 19 and older and women 19 and older. You are not responsible for memorizing these formulas, and you will not be using them to calculate estimated energy expenditure. If you would like to do so for yourself, feel free to do so. Now, here we basically look at a physical activity coefficient estimate, and this is basically used as an index of overall activity levels. Sedentary, which is no exercise whatsoever, this is actually going to be a physical activity coefficient of 1 for males and females. If we look at low activity, this is someone walking the equivalent of 2 miles per day at a speed of 3 to 4 miles per hour. For men, the coefficient would be 1.11, women 1.12. Active, these are walking the equivalent of 7 miles per day at 3 to 4 miles per hour. And please note the coefficient here once again, 1.25 and 1.27. Now, notice the difference when we look at the coefficient for men versus women when we talk about very active individuals. These are individuals that are walking the equivalent of 17 miles per day at 3 to 4 miles per hour. And here is the one time we actually see the coefficient greater for men, 1.48, than that of women, 1.45. Probably one of the most common mistakes that I see, especially on the diet analysis project, is when people try to give an estimate of their overall activity level. And quite often, many of us think that we are actually more active than we really are, and really aren't looking at how these coefficients are defined for the various levels of activity, ranging from sedentary to very active. Here basically are some energy expenditure estimates by age and activity. We see we have them for children, and we also have them for females and males. And overall, based on different levels and ages, we can see general estimates of what energy expenditure is. And this is actually an okay place to start, just to get an idea of what your overall energy expenditure is.